Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yes, let's continue understanding about RDS. There's some small concepts we have. Let us continue with that. Then we'll go ahead with that's like next service, that is yesterday. But before that, the yesterday, whenever we are creating that's RDS instance, we are observing the some options about the backup window times defining and automatic backups. Yes, like Windows maintenance backups. I mean, the Windows maintenance, the times defining that. These are all some options which we are observing that as we are having the concepts of it automated backups and the manual backups. Two backups we can take it on the database instance. Yeah. So what about these backups and what about that the retention mechanisms? I hope so we had it, but I mean, I am not, I mean, I still uh, remember that it is not discussed, but let me continue. The backups, the manual backups, how many days we can keep it as the retention options, and manual, the how many days you can keep it. Yeah, backups are automatically enabled in RDS. Yes, while creating that instance of the database, yes, we can enable that. And automated backups, there are the daily full snapshot of the database. Yes, automated, and if we define that the scheduled time, then during that times, what are the backup which is taken that is a full snapshot of the database, and capture the transaction logs also, the real time, the logs which are generating by the database, the logs also which will be captured in that snapshot, and we can ability to restore to any point in time. Yes, in case that like a database is required to restore into the particular time, yes, we can use it these backups, and we can restore to that particular point on the time. Yeah, there are all the options, but we can keep that automated backups of only 7 days, and it can be increased up to 30 days. Yes, retention days. The default, if you enable this automated backups, that file is available 7 days, and after that, that automatically will be deleted. But if you need to keep it, yes, you can keep it maximum up to 35 days. So that is providing by that RDS team. But manual backups, we can take it. There is a DB snapshots, the manually triggered by the user. But these backups, we can, the retention of backup of this one, as long as you want, we can keep it. Yes, we have S3 storage, like where we can keep it like all the data objects. That's, I mean, we can upload into that S3. S3 is, yes, we have long duration of this backups, we can keep it. But what is that S3? We'll come back to that next service, which we are going to discuss. Yes, if we store it, this database backups in the S3, as long as you want, you can keep the backup of about your database. Yeah, that's about the backups mechanism, automated and manual backups. And another option, if you remember that while creating that RDS instance, the security also. Yeah, security 2 points, just thinking about it. One is the EBS volume, whatever we are attaching that, whatever the EBS storage which we are defining to that RDS instance. Yeah, so in that like I mean in that EBS we are keep on storing that database that like important data. We need to perform it, or we need to make sure that is in encrypted mode. Yeah, encrypting the data is very, very important. That is one kind of, already we are talking that's in the EC2 instance also. Yes, like EBS volumes, encrypted volume. Like the same thing here also, encrypted ones, one kind of the security. And another one is the RDS instance, whatever we are creating that. Yes, yesterday we are defining that username and passwords. Or we can use it IAM users itself with their username and password, they can access the database. Yeah, that's like authentication and authorization point of view. Yes, which users, yes, user level, the permission defining, and as well as data point of view, data encryption mechanisms, applying that. There are the two important security activities. Yes, RDS database are usually deployed within a private subnet. Yes, that is also important. Networking level security. within the private subnet, not in a public one. But how do you create a public private subnets? I'll come back in that VPCs, which will come back it and we'll discuss on it. But private subnets are recommended. And another point, as we're talking about it, RDS security works by leveraging security groups. Yes, groups, so enabling that the port, the default port 3306, whatever we have. So that port enabling that, the same concept as for the EC2 instances. It controls who can communicate with RDS. Yes, security groups, and defining that are using the private subnets for that RDS. And IAM policies help control who can manage that AWS RDS. Yes, managing that. Yeah, even if you like to take that backups of it, or restoring the point on time, or if you'd like to view that logs information or configuration changes. Yes, who can do that or who cannot do that? As we know about it, IAM users and groups. Yes, RDS policies are available. RDS full access policy, or the read-only access policy. With that, we can control it. This is another point. And username and password can be used to log into the database. Yes, the defining that the username and passwords who can log into the database. Yeah, there are some points which we should know it on the security level, and encryption option also on the EBS volume side. Yeah, IAM users also can now be used to access about that the MySQL or Aurora databases. And finally, one more type of database engine which we are observing this while creating database. Yes, that's Aurora engine. But what is that Aurora? What is, I mean, the in which context we use it, or what are the advantages that we are going to have it? Referring that Aurora database. So Aurora is a proprietary technology from AWS team, and this is not open source. Yes, this is not the open source, and this is a licensed version, Aurora, and this is a proprietary from AWS. And this Aurora is supporting for the PostgreSQL and MySQL. Yesterday we were launching that normal MySQL database instance, but we can use it Aurora MySQL also. Yes, PostgreSQL database and MySQL are both supported as Aurora database. That means your drivers will work as if Aurora was a PostgreSQL or MySQL database. But what is it going for normal MySQL or Aurora MySQL? What are the advantages is, if you go for like Aurora MySQL database, Aurora is AWS cloud optimized, and it claims 5 times better performance improvement over normal MySQL. Yes, yesterday we created normal MySQL engine. But if you have, like if you need that, the better performance or the high load handling with MySQL, then if you have used about it, Aurora's MySQL engine, then that is a 5 times better performance you will be having on the normal, the MySQL. And the PostgreSQL point of view, 3 times better performance you will be having that with the Aurora PostgreSQL compared with that normal PostgreSQL RDS instance. Yeah, so better performance wise. So the AWS team, they have come up with that, extending about it MySQL and PostgreSQL normal databases with the high performance. They have extended that feature, and they are releasing that engine, that is a Aurora MySQL or Aurora PostgreSQL, as a the licensed copy. And Aurora storage automatically grows in increments of 10 GB up to the 64 terabytes of the data. Yeah, auto scaling group, which you can apply this on the Aurora. And as we were talking about it, the read replicas, the replication creation, Aurora can have 15 replication, while normal MySQL is having the 5 replication it supports. Yes, normal MySQL, it supports 5 read replicas, you can create it maximum, but Aurora, it is supporting that up to 15. And the replication process is faster. Yes, that's a replication process is very faster while comparing with that normal MySQL read replica and Aurora the read replica. The failover in Aurora is instantaneous and it's a high availability native. Like it is, Aurora is providing about the cluster concepts in case that the failover is happened, automatically managing about it, the high availability of it. Yes, it's internal feature which we can have it. Yeah, there are all the advantages going for that Aurora MySQL instead of normal MySQL or Aurora PostgreSQL instead of normal PostgreSQL RDS. But costs, Aurora cost more than 20% more, yes, than normal RDS. Yes, we are getting the better performance, but as the same time, so we have this more cost also. Yeah, so that is the difference on that optimization point of view and the read replicas point of view. And yes, Oracle wise, we don't have that. Oracle versus Aurora, no, we don't have. The Oracle normal database instance, but MySQL, instead of taking that the MySQL RDS or Aurora MySQL, there are the differences. But Oracle, okay, that is differences of that like Aurora with Oracle. No, I'm not sure exactly that's identify it. Oracle with Aurora database. But these are all like optimization point of view, normal MySQL and Aurora MySQL.
Yes, it's clear now. So but the most of the market is working with Oracle, right? So why
Yes,
they are
Oracle.
trading with Oracle?
See, Oracle is having that best main strategy is backup mechanism.
Okay, okay.
On premises, if we just observe that on the MySQL and all these, the database are not having those the specific tools. We need to plan it backups and recoveries. But if you go for Oracle, RMAN is one of the best utility which
Mhm.
we can use it to handle the backups and the restore mechanisms.
Correct, correct. Yeah, yeah.
So that's on-premises point of view. Why this Oracle was very famous is, yes, like a large, huge transaction handling point of view.
Mhm.
And before this cloud, there was no other solution. Only, I mean, the Oracle was main transaction which that is supporting that. And
Yeah.
MySQL, they were using that's only normal applications in the open source kind of license version point of view. They are using that. But support and failures mechanisms, backups and recovery mechanisms, all these features, if you talk it, yes, Oracle is definitely that is leading that.
Okay. Yeah, got it. Thank you.
Yeah. But these Aurora is the like the proprietary for especially MySQL and PostgreSQL. Suppose, okay, let's take a trigentiontechnologies.com application. So for this application, I need to have the database. So MySQL, I can go for that. I don't need that Oracle license version and all that. But MySQL, okay, I'm preferring that. But in that MySQL, but I need to have the some performance-wise, some best optimization and more read replicas. Then instead of using that normal MySQL RDS instance, go for that on the MySQL itself with Aurora MySQL. So that is a like a concept of it. The AWS, they have come up with that on these PostgreSQL and MySQL, extending about it somewhat performance on the read write operations. And now if you are going to use it, the cloud one, cloud is providing automated backups. Even Oracle also, even if you use it RDS instance, you can use it about your RMAN tools, like to take that the recovery mechanism backups. But the cloud itself is providing the features, automated backups or the manual backups and restoring mechanisms into the particular time in case the failure is happened. So all that features cloud itself is giving that. Now that like yeah, the clients their license base, you would like to go for that, or open source with the best optimization they would like to go for. Then on the base of that application, transactions per second based, and yeah, this scaling features point of view. Suppose normal MySQL is having that primary and secondary concept, but I need to have the cluster concepts to handle that high availability. Then I need to go for Aurora PostgreSQL or Aurora MySQL. So cluster features and yeah, these read replicas mechanism, performance. So there are all the differences, understanding that why do we need to go for it. Okay, good. So let me quickly go for this creating this RDS instance yesterday, which we are doing that, and we'll try to understand about it, snapshots, or if it is required, replication mechanisms, how you can replicate it the database. The same thing, like if you just remember that EC2 instance, creating the snapshots, and snapshots you can copy to other region, and after copying that from the snapshot, we can create EC2 instance. The same thing, the here also database, the which we if we have the CSS, we can create a snapshot of it, and from the snapshot, again you can create a new database instance in the different availability zones if you need it, or cross-region replication if it is required. That means in the different region, if you like to replicate it, the database instance. Yes, the snapshot is one important concept. Let me show the some options. The quickly creating the database instance. Yeah, so the standard create. Yeah, so here you see this while creating Aurora MySQL. Yeah, Aurora MySQL compatible and Aurora PostgreSQL compatible. Yes, and normal MySQL RDS instance and normal PostgreSQL instance. They're all like normal instances, RDS, which are supporting about it basic yes performance as a normal databases. But if you are expecting on these MySQL, PostgreSQL, but Aurora, I mean, yeah, AWS team, they have come up with that some more compatibility to give it and performance. If you need it on the MySQL and PostgreSQL, you can use it these engines. And Oracle, yes, Oracle is there. Yes, if you are the preferring about it. Yeah, so here you can see this like a PostgreSQL database. I mean, the documentation wise, the PostgreSQL or Oracle or MySQL. So that's uh, you can refer that some documentation of it. The Oracle database is a relational. I mean, obviously they're all relational databases, but Amazon RDS makes it easy to set up, operate, and scale Oracle database deployments in the cloud. And with Amazon RDS, you can deploy multiple editions of Oracle database in minutes with cost efficient and resizable hardware capacity. Those are all the features that I can have it. Yes, you can just refer that. The comparing with that, so one by one, all these. As you can just refer the documentation, uh, the features of it. Okay, so let me go for this MySQL. I'm going to use it MySQL, and then what are the other options? I don't need that filters. Okay, that is a default option. And free tier eligibility, high availability and durability, we don't need it. So let's skip it. And database name, this is MySQL DB, and username. And let me define this the password. And yes, it is supporting the T type of classes only, as we have selected that free tier and use it the T2 micro. And storage, yes, 20 GB is more enough. So don't use it other types. This will be IOPS, especially don't use it. That will be chargeable. And auto scaling group on the sizing, that is not required for us. Let's disable that. And connectivity, yes, you can connect to that EC2 instance. Like if you have this already existing EC2 instance, from that EC2 instance, if you'd like to connect it, yes, you can choose that EC2 instance. And we can have the, like yesterday or day before yesterday, we are using the MySQL command to connect to the database. Like that, yes, if you have the EC2 instance, from that EC2 instance, you need to connect to the database. Yes, the EC2 instance, you can launch it. And from that EC2 instance, you can connect it to the database as well as. That means it is going to enable that the firewall security groups from that EC2 instance. Or otherwise, we also can configure explicitly. No issues on it. Yeah, network type IPv4 and VPC, the default VPC. Oh, sorry for that. Is it okay now? Oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm just creating the database and with the standard create or easy create. And here, as I was talking about it, yes, Aurora MySQL compatible or PostgreSQL compatible, which you can choose those options. And this is normal MySQL RDS or PostgreSQL RDS. And here we can find that the documentation, yes, on the base of database instance which you are selecting, and you can find that the documentation, yeah, the which one is why it is I need to go for the PostgreSQL, or why do I need to go for the MySQL. So you can get it that features, and you can refer it one time. Now we are choosing about it MySQL, and this is addition from the MySQL community, and MySQL version is, yes, this is the latest version which we have. Or if you have the specific version as per application requirement, then you can choose it, the specific version of the database as well as. And the templates, yes, if you need like multi-availability zone support or development or testing environment related instances, then you can use the templates as per the requirement. But as we are going to use it, the free tier. And high availabilities, durabilities is not required for us. And in the settings section, so we are going to use a database instance identifier. That is the name of this database, and username, and the passwords defining. Already we were observing this one yesterday, but yes. Instance configuration, yeah, T classes which are available for the free tier eligible, yes, T2 micro or a T3 micro, which you can use it. They're all the T type of instances. And storage is that like a GP2 as a storage type. It is same kind of the concept which we are talking this in the EC2 instance. Yes, the types of the volumes and what is the storage that is required. And auto scaling is required for this EC2 instance. The automatically to get it the increasing that's volume sizes. It is kind of vertical scaling. And connectivity. Yes, like if you'd like to connect it to this database instance, do you have any EC2 instance already created or not? That's we can choose it here. Yeah, I don't connect to an EC2 compute resource. Or if you'd like to connect it to an EC2 compute resource, yes, which EC2 instance you are planning to connect it. That EC2 instance you can create it or you can add it here. That's which you are trying to understand MySQL command the before. The same command you can use it from the EC2 instance and you can connect to the database. Yeah, network type IPv4, and sorry, this is not required. Yeah, the VPC, yes, which VPC? That's we want to. I mean, yeah, in which VPC that's we want to launch this database, and subnet group. Yes, in which subnet group? Yes, already the subnet group has been created. And public access. Yes, yesterday we were talking about it from the Windows system accessing that using MySQL Workbench. Some client we are using this, right? Yes, if you would like to connect it, yes, you can use it the public access. The recommended is private. No, don't access. Don't give the public access. That is recommended is private. Yeah, security groups. Already, if you have this, yes, choose the existing one, or otherwise go for the creating a new one. Yesterday we have created EB security group. And availability zone is kind of the data center. Yes, in which data center that you want to launch it. Yes, if you have any specific the data center, you can choose it. Otherwise, you can skip it that. And authentication, password-based authentication, or password. And if you need that IAM database, the users also can access it. Then you can use it this option. But password is enough. And monitoring, detailed monitoring, we don't need it. And additional configuration, database name, parameter group. This is important concept. I'll come back to this. Yes, I'm enabling that automated backup. Yesterday we didn't enable it. Let me enable that automated backups and we'll see. And yes, whenever you are enabling automated backups, the retention period maximum 35 days you can use it that. But manual backups, yes, you can keep it as long as you need. Even this one also, you can store it in the backend, some, yes, S3 storages, and we can keep it. And backup window time also you can specify. If you have the specific time to take this backups, you can choose that the window time to take the backup. I don't have any preference. Let's leave it that. And backup replication. Yes, this whatever the backup it is going to creating that. Do you need that any in other region? Other region. Suppose now we are using the Mumbai region. Yes, this backup is required to replicate it in another region. Yes, you can specify that in which region that you want to. It is kind of like a disaster recovery point of view in case this region got failed. Yes, you have that's the same replica of the database instance, and you can have it restoring that the database. Yeah, so this in which region that you want to replicate it, this database instance, the region, and replicated backup retention period, the how long that you want to keep that backup, as we are talking about the 7 to 35 days, this also. And encryption, yes, as we are talking about it, replication it is doing is nothing but over the network, it has to copy the data. Over the network, it is copying this data is nothing but recommended to use it, the key mechanism. AWS key and key IDs. So that is, but we don't need that replication in another region. And as we are talking that logs, whatever it is generating that, if you would like to store these logs into the CloudWatch. So this is logs to export into the CloudWatch. Yes, you can use it, these options. Or otherwise we can watch it or we can access these logs in the instance level itself. As a permanent storage, if it is required, yes, you need to use the CloudWatch logs. And maintenance window, yes, these are all minor version upgrades. Yeah, so these things, let me create database. How many of you done this activity? Have you created the RDS instance? Okay, good. And this lab guide is also available. And if you refer that the lab guides, let me quickly show that. It will take some time to create this. So if you go to this section, RDS, yeah, so this is a lab guide which we can refer it. The step by step it is defined. Creating RDS database instance and connecting to RDS database instance using MySQL Workbench and how you can test the connections. So all that steps it has been explained clearly. So go ahead and try to observe that each and every input and think it of it, the usage of it, or refer this that's documentation with the help options and go ahead trying to complete the lab guides. Fine. So now, if you just observe this database instance, like actions, let me show this. What are the different actions? Still, that is in the creating option itself. It is not active. So what are the different actions which you can apply that once the database is ready is the delete option. For the timing it is enabled, and you can migrate. I will talk it in the snapshot section. And what are the other option? Yes, you can convert to multi-availability zone deployment. As a high availability, if you are expecting as a primary and standby instances, as we're talking that the primary and a secondary, which is going to have that synchronous based communication. Yeah, if you need that like multi-availability zone support with the availability, yes, you can convert this database instance directly to the multi-availability zone deployment. But now we have created this one in the free tier. The free tier, it is not supporting that like a high availability, but if you need it, you need to convert it. But if you convert it, that will be chargeable, as that is not applicable in the free tier. And one more point here, if you just observe that, so it is creating, and after creating, and it is taking the backup also. Yes, initial backup. So automated backups have been enabled, and you see this here left side menu, automated backup section, and it is creating that the automated backups. Yeah, so this is the initial backup which has been created, but where it is created in the current region itself, it is creating that because we didn't enable the replication to another region. If we have enabled while creating the database instance, the creating that database into that like cross region or other region, then you will see this replicated options here, replicated backups in other region. But we didn't specify that other replicated regions, and we were using the normal backup in the current region itself. It is taking the backup of the instance. Yeah, still that is taking the backup. And meanwhile, let me talk it this properties. Yesterday we were talking there's like connection properties point of view. Yeah, connectivity and security. Yes, endpoint is required if you like to connect to this database, and a port number, and networking options which we can check it. Yes, in this subnet group it is created with this VPC. And network type IPv4, and this is a VPC security group. Yes, if you would like to enable any additional rules, yes, we can use it this security group, and we can define the rules as we know the security group, like for the EC2 engine, the same thing. Today we didn't enable the public accessible, the only private. Yeah, and they're all security group rules as yesterday also which are observing. And now you see this, it has been taken one backup, the local backup on the same region. But you see this, yes, this is the availability zone. Even the database is also having the same region and availability zone. AP South 1 and B is the availability zone. Even that like the database replication also, the backup also has been taken in the same region and same availability zone. But if you need it, as we're talking the volume concept, the volume is the same volume you can attach to that in the same availability zone EC2 instance. The same way here also, whatever the replications we are creating, that the replication by default in the same availability zone it is creating. But if you need it other the region or other availability zone, then we need to go for the cross the region replication. Suppose here you can access the actions, and yeah, here if you need that read replicas. So for the normal MySQL database instance, how many read replicas you can create it? It supports up to 5 read replicas you can create it. Yeah, the 5 read replicas. But Aurora read replica, it supports up to 15 read replicas. Yes, on this database, if you need it for about our application, yes, application team as architect point of view, Yes, we need to create read replicas of this database for the application report modules, or like yeah, that's like the loading of the data. If they have this any specific module that is a cache mechanism point of view to read the data and the loading to the cache systems, then we can use it, the read replicas. That is also the same process, creating the database how we are doing, same options. You just try with that. And another option, as we are talking about it, the replication. Yeah, so we are in the database level, right? Okay, database level, that's replication not given. And if you go to that, yes, like automated backups, and you can select this, and here you can see other region if you would like to replicate it. Yes, now I need to have the same database in another region. Then you can select that, so this backup, and yes, that backup, yes, earliest restorable time, this was the time, the restorable, and the latest restorable time is this the time. Yeah, this is the latest the point of the time you can have it. If you are going to take this as a backup or moving to that other region or other availability zone if you need it, this instance, yes, you can identify that latest restorable time. So these are all like automated backups, and automated backup, this was the latest the backup which is available. Before this one, so the 714 it was there. There's some like 1 minute difference, but even that 1 minute also the very very important, right? Even 1 minute of the transactions in the database is also the very very important whenever you are taking the backups. Yeah, so you can go for that's managing the cross replication, and as we are talking about it, yes, which region and which yes, the what is the replicated backup retention period, you can define it, and you can copy to that other regions as well as. Yeah, while creation you can enable it, or if you need that the specific to that particular region, if you like to take the backup of the replicating of the database, yes, you can use it. Go to the backups, and which latest backup is required to you, yes, you can identify that, and you can take it as moving to other region or cloning into that other region. Yeah, so that's one of that action. So how you can, as we are having that the snapshots and the EC2 instance, you can copy. I mean, we have the volumes. On the volume, you can create a snapshot, and that snapshot you can copy to other region, right? Same thing here. Yeah, backups are like as a snapshots, and these snapshots you can replicate to other regions, or yeah, you can restore to the particular point in time. What is the restore? So now the current database is having some issues where we need to recover back. Then what we can do this is you can identify about your backup, the which is having the latest one. Yes, and you can go for that restore to point in time. Then you can define this the properties which are required, and you can create a new instance of this that is requiring back that the particular point in time of the, yeah, latest restorable time is this is the 1920. Before it was showing about it 1915. That is the advantage of that automated backups. Up to the minute, whatever the transaction which are happened in the database, we can do that restorable. Or if you have the specific date and time of this the recovery, instead of that, yes, so the latest recoverable, you can find it. And yes, the DB engine, which engine, and general public license, what is the DB identifier, and remaining properties. Yes, the capacity is it required any changes, or multi-availability zone or single database in the remaining properties you can identify, and you can restore to point in time. So it is going to launch that with that current state, what are that latest timestamp based we have taken, and it is going to launch the instance. So the backups point of view, two options. So one is you can copy that backup to other regions as if it is required as a backup. I mean, as a disaster recovery point of view, the backups you required, then you can replicate this backup to other regions. That is a replication option. Another option is in case that's the current instance, the failed, and you need to have it. Okay, suppose let's take it. This like UAT environment, you have some database, and current state of that the data whatever we have with that data, you need to create one more EC2 instance for the staging environment. Yeah, then you can use it that yes, like which state of that UAT environment database required, and you can take it restore to point in time, and you can create a database instance. That's you can use it as a staging environment. Yeah, those context point of view or restores point of view. Yes, on the backups we can apply these actions. And manual backups, here we can see this the manual backups, but still we didn't create the backups. But we also can create a manual backups as well as. Yes, you see that here manual and system the which has been taken that the backup. There are this is the system backup. So the snapshot it was created the 714 and completed. Yes, there are all the properties of the database instance. And from this also, yes, this is a snapshot, and from the snapshots also you can do that activities. That is restore the snapshot, or you can copy this snapshot. Copying point of view to yes, other region you can do, or within the same region, other availability zone you can do that. Yes, with encryption options. So this is a parameter group, optional group. Yeah, DB snapshot identifier, you can define the name of it, and you can replicate it to this snapshot, copy snapshot. The cross region replication and cross, I mean, this is the copy snapshot. Copy snapshot is as it is. That means it is not going to create a RDS instance. It is just a snapshot. Again, you will be having one more copy of the backup. Are getting the point of it? A snapshot itself, you are going to copy that. Or from this snapshot, you are going to restoring that. This is, it is kind of, if you just try to replicated that, this is the restoring of the snapshot, that is creating an instance point of view. Yeah, the remaining all the properties, the connectivities and all that you can define it, and you can create a database instance for this. This is a restoring the DB instance. Yeah, copying that the snapshots or restoring to that instance, or migrate. Migrate, when do we use it? Suppose I need to change the version of this database, moving that like the one major version to another major version. Some small patches as minor patches that is managing by AWS team itself, as we have that option maintenance windows. And if you enable that minor upgrades, then AWS is taking care of it. But you need to migrate that the database from one version to that, or one engine to another engine. Then you can use this migrate option they have given. Yeah, so here migrate to DB engine. Which engine they have given that option? Aurora MySQL. So which was created the normal RDS MySQL, but during the migration, yes, if you like to convert into that Aurora MySQL, they have given that option migrate to DB engine Aurora, and which engine version, but it is not having any specific version. Then settings, the remaining properties are the same: instance configuration, storage configuration, and encryption options. Yeah, parameter group options. What is the parameter group? Will come back. Then you can migrate into that Aurora database. Yeah, the snapshots are going to play important role, either taking their backups or copying the databases to other regions, or yes, if you like to replicate that database instance in other region, cross-region replication, or you can restore the particular point in the time. So the database point of view, the main thing is backups and recoveries are the important activity, because each and every minute and each and every fraction of the second of the transaction is very important. Yeah, automated backups. Yes, you can identify the restorable time and you can restore the particular point to the time. And manual snapshots also, which we can take it. Yes, now I need the backup of the current database instance. Yes, the snapshot, you can take the snapshot. Yes, which database instance, MySQL, and give that the name of this database. I mean, the snapshot name. Yes, MySQL, at what time you are taking, date and time, and date and time, and you can just mention it and you can go ahead and taking the snapshot of it. So that is today 12:04, and if you have the specific time, must contain only letters or hyphens. It is. Yeah, now that like current instance, whatever we have, so that's manually we have taken the backup. This is the manual backup. Now you see this in the manual, you can see the backup. But manual backups retention period is as long as you need it, that is available. But system, these backups, the default retention period is 7 days, up to the 7 days that is available. After that, that automatically which will be deleted. But if you need these permanently, these backups, yes, what is that option which is available is we store into that Amazon S3. We can export to Amazon S3. This is a permanent storage. Yes, here you can see that export to Amazon S3. That means this complete backup you are storing in kind of like in the organization, we say this on the on-premises tapes. So the permanent backups is like a backend system administrator. They do that, moving that all the backups to the tapes, and the tapes which will be stored in that storage area. That's in the server's data center. But here they have simplified about it, like managing about your backups and everything into that S3. Yes, if you define that AS3 and define that name for it, and in which S3 is having the concept of the buckets. Yes, in which bucket and do you want to store it? That bucket, if it is available, bucket with the suffix name, and a role to copy that, and with the key based, that is authentication key. If you define it, and you can export it to Amazon S3. Now this entire backup that will be stored in the S3. But once if you store into that S3, then what is the advantage is if you have this in S3, that backup, you can access in any AWS account. Now I can go to that other AWS account and I can use it, this backup, which you have uploaded to the S3, and I can, like you see that's here, restore from S3 option. So if it is already having this, that's a backup in S3, then I can use it S3. Yes, in which bucket that is available, bucket name and a prefix. Yes, what is that engine type? Then you can create a database instance with all these properties and you can create a database. So from that backup which are stored in the permanent storage, so directly you can restore it. Are you following the points? Especially snapshots and snapshots in that manual and automated backups. And if you have those snapshots, what we can do, either we can restore it to the particular point in time, that is recovery mechanism, or we can replicate to that other regions, or we can copy the snapshots to other regions, or we can upload into the permanent storage, that is S3. And from the S3, once that's the backup is available in S3, from the S3 also you can directly take it about the backup and you can restore into. Yeah, so there are all the options the which are available, main in that the backups and restoring mechanism. Is it clear about this? Yeah, so yesterday which are observing the some options like Aurora, and if you go for this like performance insights, if you have enabled, that means you can monitor about your database connections. Like you see, performance insights expands on existing Amazon RDS monitoring features to illustrate and help you analyze about your database performance. You don't need to have a separate database dashboards. So this performance insights, the which is helping that with the performance insight dashboard, you can visualize the database load. Yes, what is the current load that we have, but we don't have any database instance which is enabled. So you need to enable that. That is a detailed monitoring. These are all like cost based, but don't worry about it. Yeah, but know that if you would like to analyze it, what is the load that we have on the database, and the load by waiting connections and SQL statements, time consumptions. That means it is kind of like SQL injection identifying and which host or what all the users are using. All that the data you can analyze it from this dashboard itself. Yeah, you need to select that which database. The database you have selected, then you will get it all that's the details over here itself. Yeah, this is one more the beautiful beauty of the cloud is ready-made dashboards on the database instances. If you have enabled about the detail monitoring, and you can directly store into that permanent storages and recover from there itself, and you can the replicate into that other regions as the disaster recovery point of view, or you can create with the primary and standby instances, that is multi availability zone support for availability. But who is managing the background? Yes, that is AWS team. They are going to, I mean, now as the cloud engineer, we are talking about it, the database backups and recovery mechanisms. But if it is on-premises, no, we cannot handle that. If it is on-premises database, the clustering concepts, high availability, backups and recovery, that is separate resource is required. That's why nowadays, these days, database administrator's role is decreased. I mean, that's the requirements also only okay. There's some kind of the important databases are having that. But before you see this database administrator separate recruitment, a lot of demand for them. But nowadays, after the cloud has come up with that, now the cloud engineer is going to manage the database. How he is managing? So just what we need it, identify it, and define the properties, and the backend AWS is managing for us. And easy way to take the backups and easy way to recover of it. And permanent storages, you can move into that, that is S3. Yeah, these main activities, the database administrator, why do we need it? But those things now we can easily manage it. That is um, the beauty of the cloud. Another concept, let me talk it as, okay, let me go to this databases. And if you talk it here. Yeah, this is the connectivity settings which you can find it, and in which VPC security groups if you like to change it. Yes, this is the section. And next option is the monitoring. Yeah, here also you can see that this is the default monitoring. Even that EC2 instance is also available. Yeah, what is the CPU utilization of this database? Yes, initially while launching that or while creating, it was using something approximately 32, 33 percentage. But now we are not doing any transaction on it. Slowly it has been degraded and it is using something 4% or 5 percentage. Yeah, CPU utilization, database connections. And now today we didn't test it to the database. That means we didn't have it any connections to the database. Or if you have used about MySQL Workbench and if you are to keep on submitting that the queries execution on this database, then we will see that the connections which are increasing or decreasing or any clients. I mean that's normally these are all through application which will be having the connections. Yes, like a number of connections that's count and the free storage how much that is available. Yes, the 20 GB you have defined almost that is everything is available, and how much memory the free memory how much it is available on this instance. We have taken that 1 GB capacity of it, the minimal capacity. And write operations which are happened on the database or the read IO operations which are happened. Yes, count per second. Yes. So these monitoring options, which we can analyze it here, the load on the database. And if you need that detailed monitoring, yes, with the CloudWatch, yes, you can, you see this database instance is not supporting performance insights. If you go for Aurora kind of database instance, yes, they are giving that feature. And yes, performance insights, if it is enabled, then you can go to here and you can see in the dashboard, the load on the database and everything. Yeah, that's about monitoring option. The load on the database, the connections of the database, we can analyze it here. And troubleshooting point of view, the troubleshooting, that is the logs accessing that, or what all the events are happening on the database. Yes, if you'd like to know that, this is the section. The logs and events, and here you see the recent events, what all the events are happened. Yes, like backing up the database, our database instance has been restarted and database instance has been shut down and enable automated backups. Yes, there are some events which we can see this on this, which are happened on this database instance. And the logs also. Yes, as we are talking about it, yes, we can suppose if you have some issues, yes, you can ask about that the error logs, and you can go further watch this, and it is going to automatically refreshing that every 5 seconds, and you can watch this logs here itself. It is kind of normally we log into the system tail-f and the log file we use it, right? The same kind of here. As we are talking that we don't have directly accessing about it, the database instance, but yes, you can access the logs, you can view that the performance of the database, everything from the console itself. Yeah, error logs or the transaction logs. Or if you'd like to download it, you can download these log files as well as. Yeah, upgrade statuses or error logs or a MySQL error log on this date and time. Yes, this was the before at 1912, one log file which was created with the date and timestamps. Yeah, the logs, if you'd like to analyze it, you can watch it, or you can view it, or you can download the log files. Or if you have exported to that, suppose in the configuration section, so we have the logs. Let me go to that. The modify option. And as we're talking about it, we can do this exporting to CloudWatch. Yes, if I would have exported this CloudWatch, in the CloudWatch itself, I can analyze it. It is kind of Elasticsearch. How do we have this like third-party utility to analyze it about our logs of the middleware services or the like front-end services or the back-end services? Yes, the database related logs, you can store it in the CloudWatch. I will show this in the CloudWatch how the logs can be analyzed. The later in the CloudWatch, that is a big concept. We have this separately. Yes, if I export it here, and you can go to the CloudWatch and you can analyze that all these logs from there itself. Even you don't need to use it in this log section. Directly you can go to the CloudWatch and you can analyze about the errors. And I mean, alarms point of view, yes, as we're talking about it, yes, if you need that, like any notification system, you need to get that notification in case the database instance size, I mean, that like volume size point of view, our instance is taking that backup of the snapshot, or if you have any kind of the normally events, we can do that. Yes, we event subscription, that is a more beautiful. And this is about CloudWatch metrics point of view. Yes, if the CPU utilization is reached the particular percentage, or like yes, you see that's like the options. So the CPU utilization or database connections have been reached the particular the number of connections, or how much free storage. Yes, if the free storage is the less than or equal to something, that is something like it is reached 90% of it. That means almost 18 the GB that is reached. You have only something 2 GB something as a free. Then you need to get the notification. Yeah, then you can register that email notification on this metric. But which metric? Do you want to get that the notification on the CPU utilization or connections? Yes, average of the DB connections. If that the connections are I mean the less than or equal to some count, then if the count is reached on the load on the database instance, then we will get it the notification. And this load is also continuing for the specific duration. Yes, consecutive period of the 5 minutes. Yes, if that load is continuing that the 5 minutes, then get the notification. Yeah, there are like the alarms which we can define it, either read operations, write operations, and a free storage, how much required, swap utilization, latencies, if you have anything, write latency, read latency. So we on the basis of which metric that is required, yes, you can configure that alarm notifications, and we will automatically get the notification if that particular metric is reached with this threshold and with this consecutive period of the time. Suppose one time it is reached that the particular condition, no, we don't want that. If it is continuing the particular time, yes, then it is required some kind of the load is there on the database or some latencies are there on the database. Then yes, you need to have that I mean the alert notification. Yeah, let's alarms we can define it on the database. Are you getting the concepts? I mean, are you following that? Yeah, the logs and events and the configuration section. You can modify it directly here, or you can see this the configuration information what it is defined for the database. And another one is maintenance and backups. Yes, at any time you can enable or disable these options. Yes, by default maintenance we didn't enable it. But if you need that like minor upgrades, yes, minor version upgrade automatically by AWS team, then you can enable this option. And at what time do you want to do that maintenance windows? And do you have any pending maintenance and pending modifications? That's also we can monitor it here. And a backup mechanism, yes, automated backups, and it has been enabled with the retention time. Yes, you can see replication, we didn't define it, right? Automated replicating to other regions, we didn't define. If we have enabled that option also, yes, that's also you can see. And what is the latest restore time is now that 740 of that as per this, yes, about our time zone, 5:30. And backup target, the further timing that is on the Mumbai itself. Yeah, so these are all the like two backups are available now. One automated backups. So at this time it was taken, and second one is we were creating the manual backup. Or if you need that's taking the backup, or if you don't want these backups, you can remove it, or you can restore the backups. That is from the point of the time you can take it and you can restore back. Yeah, that is the maintenance and backup section. Yeah, that's about some important sections the which we should know that as a database management activities point of view. So let me go ahead to the next tab here. The important thing is parameter groups. So what are these parameter groups? Suppose as we are talking about it, we don't have login to the database instance to configure it, to configure the database properties. Suppose connections, I need to increase it. Number of connections on the database. Yes, the load is increasing. Then we need to increase the database connections. Or some auto commits should be enabled. Or if you have the same some specific configuration, what you can do is, so this is the default configuration parameters. Yes, if you just observe that the default one, here you can see this all the parameters and current values which have been set up that on these the parameter. Each parameter is one property, one configuration property. And what are the current values which has been set up that? Or what are the possible values which we can set up this? Is it modifiable property or not? And the source, apply type, dynamic, or is it required the restarting the database? Dynamic, if you see, directly if you apply it in the parameter group, then that will be applied to the database during runtime itself. But if it is static, yes, this property which will be applied, whatever the change you are doing, that will be applied after restarting the database. And data type, which type of the property is this? And finally, at the last section, you can see description of that property. If you need that, okay, what is this property? If you'd like to know that, yes, you can read the description of that property. Yeah, so the configurations, how to apply to the database is, we don't need to log into the database instance and to access the configuration file of the database with V editors, or normally we do that, right? All those things not required. So you can use it about your parameter group. But a default parameter group, we cannot edit it and we cannot set it, because any engine you are creating that default, it is going to use it as a like a skeleton template. This is the skeleton. So suppose whenever we install the MySQL database, default properties will get it. So the default configuration, this is the default parameter group. But if we needed the custom one, what we need to do this is we can create a parameter group. Suppose for about our database, we need to have the specific configuration. Then, yes, which parameter group family we are planning to create it? Yes, is it MySQL or Oracle one or PostgreSQL one, or which is supporting that Aurora, the MySQL 5.6 that is, and SQL Server. Yes, which template, which parameter group that is required. So first identify about it that, and after identifying, suppose here, okay, the MySQL 8.0. Okay, so I'm going to create like, I mean, we are going to create like a database less as in that 8.0. And a DB parameter group, yes. Is it instance based or is it a cluster based? So instance based type, then group name. Okay, this is about our RNS, the MySQL parameter group. And that MySQL version also, okay, 8.2 MySQL 8.0 version. Yes, you can define the name and describe, you can define the description for it. And you can create this. Okay, dot I have used. You can create the parameter group. And now what are the customization that is required for database? Well, it's not moving. Okay, so now this is the parameter group which you have created. And if you'd like to edit this, yes, you can do that, like editing of this, or you can copy it, or you can compare to that other parameter group, or if you don't want, you can delete it. So if you'd like to customize it, any properties, yes, now you see this in edit mode. Now it is supporting about it. Okay, this property, if you'd like to change it, yes, 0 or 1, do you want to enable or disable it? Suppose auto commit, do you want to enable that? So yes, you can set that 1. Then like any commits or any insert operation or update operations which are happening on the database, that's automatically which will be committed. Developer, he doesn't need that explicitly specifying the commit operation from the client. So for about your database, that is required. Okay, that's you can configure this property, and or you can see this like, or you can search the particular property which you would like to change it. Suppose database connections. Yeah, connection timeouts you can define it, and this is the possible value 2 to this much time you can define that. And init connections, yes, during database launching time, how many initial connection that is required as to handle the load of it. Yes, init connects or maximum connect errors or maximum connections. Yes, how many maximum connections you are expecting from this database that is on the base of CPUs, memories. Yeah, so if you have any kind of these properties to customize it, yes, edit it here and save the changes. And if you change it here, then this parameter group, which are all the databases are using, automatically those databases, the configurations will be applied. But how do you apply this parameter group to the database? Yes, now suppose we don't want to use the default MySQL configuration and would like to use it about our custom parameter group. Then go to the database section. And if you go for modify option, and somewhere you see this, the property. Yeah, so in the database additional configuration section, DB parameter group, for the timing it is using the default MySQL properties. But we would like to apply to that about our RNS parameter group, which are customized some auto commits or the number of connections or connection timeouts or init connections. So whatever you are doing that the update in this parameter group, that will be applied to this database. Yeah, now this is a parameter group where current value is this, and we are changing to this one and modify the DB instance. This is one important thing. How do we manage that? The configuration changes of the database. As we don't have, that's why we're talking that we don't have any SSH to the instance. I don't need it now, right? If I would like to monitor that instance, yes, I have the monitoring option here, the load monitoring. Or if I would like to check the logs of it, yes, I have the logs options here. And if I would like to do the supplying the configuration properties of the database, yes, we have the parameter group options. And maintenance and backups to manage it, yes, I have this from here itself defining that maintenance and backups. Are you clear about this one, RDS? The beauty of it? The cloud, why the cloud is, yes, that is preferable for the clients. But yes, as a DB securities, if they think it like more customers data and all these points, then we use it about our own database. That is different story. But yes, RDS is one kind of the service. If you would like to manage it about your database for about your application, yes, ready-made solution from the cloud providers, especially AWS point of view, RDS. Like that, yes, Azure, they have their own the mechanism, and Google, they are providing that the services. And another option, let me talk it that the finally before going to closing this, and you can see some recommendations also. Suppose if I go to the recommendation section, recommendation. Now that suppose if I misconfigured anything in the database, you have done some misconfiguration. So then it is going to give the recommendations. So you need to keep on verify the recommendations and make sure that the recommendations you are either dismissed or you have applied. Suppose what is the like recommendation? It is saying that DB instance is not a multi-AG DB instance. So we didn't know what are the database instance which are created. It is single database instance with the free tier we have created. But it is interesting because we recommended that you use it multi-AG deployment. That is for high availability. They are suggesting that if you need it, you can take it and you can go for apply now. Then it is going to create automatically multi-availability zone with the database instance. Multi-AG deployments enhance the availability and durability of the DB instance. So if you apply it, then it is going to suggesting that multi-availability zone deployment. But we don't need it. Or suppose another property, enhanced monitoring is not enabled. Yes, monitoring we didn't enable. But if we need that accurate statistics about CPU load or connection load or write IO operations or the read IO operations, if you'd like to enhance that, yes, this is recommended. I mean, this is suggesting that by the AWS team itself. So if you need that detailed monitoring, yes, you can go for apply it or you can schedule it. Particular time that will be automatically enabled. And storage auto scaling is not turned on. We didn't enable that auto scaling on the storage. We just define the 20 GB. But in the real time transactions are happening and we don't know that storage when it is going to get full. But if you like to manage it automatically, that the scaling on the database storage, yes, you can use it this option and you can apply it. So the recommendations, what are like the better approaches which we can apply on the database instance. That is AWS is given the suggestions. If you need it, you can use it. Otherwise, if you don't need it, yes, you can dismiss that. In the now these are all active and these are all the dismissed. Yeah, that is recommendations you can see. And another section is events. Yes, on the database, what all the events are happened. Yes, all the events, even that in that particular database also you can get it events. But this is all the database instances. All the database instances as what all the like the events which are happening. MySQL DB has finished updating the DB parameter group. Yes, just we have done that one. Parameter group we have updated. And this is the snapshot based some activity which was done. So manual snapshot was created or backing up the database was done. Snapshot was created manually, creating. So all the events which are happened, that's we can get it. I mean, we can analyze it. And one more important thing, event subscriptions. Yes, some event is happened. I need to get the notification. Like here, before we were talking about it, CloudWatch alarm metrics like CPU utilization is reached or number of connections reached or write operations or the latency is based. If something is, some metric is reached, if you'd like to get the notification, that is CloudWatch alarm. And this is about event subscription. Suppose what is that event? I mean, event name, you can define it. Yes. Do you want to get that email notification? Yes. Topic name and to whom do you want to send the email? That email. And finally, source type. Which type of event sets do you need it? So all the event categories, do you want to get the notification? Or do you want to select specific event categories? Yes, what are the event categories? Creation, or a deletion, or failure, or a notification. Yeah, event categories on the specific. Yeah, this is. And here the source type which is showing the blue green, but instead of that, suppose instance-based database instance. Uh, do you want to apply this event to all the instances or specific database instance? Okay, I would like to monitor only my MySQL DB or all the database instances. But in this database, which event does do you want to? All the events, or do you need that any specific event to trigger the email notification? A specific event you have, suppose the backing of this database, or anyone is a deletion, or failover, or it has been failed, or read replicas has been created, or restoration has been happened on this database instance, a security patching has been applied. So if you needed the particular event related email notification on the particular database is the type source type, and in all do you want it or specific one, or event all events on that or specific one, you can define it. Then automatically the what of the two email IDs you have defined here, to that email IDs we will get the notifications. Yeah, so these are all some important options. So just browse it and know that one time. But these are all everything not possible to create it here. But know these concepts. That's enough. So that's about RDS, how the AWS is supporting about it on the database side, ready-made databases to create it. Yes, any queries, questions, please? Anyway, S3 will start it tomorrow. The time is almost, I mean, time is crossed also, right? Yeah, tomorrow we'll continue with S3. Yes, any queries, questions, please let me know that on this RDS, and make sure you have deleted everything. Here you can see the options. You can stop temporarily, or you can reboot the database, or you can delete the database. So while deleting a database, yes, go ahead with that. Like, do you want to create a final snapshot of it before deleting this? But I don't need that backups. But if you need the backup, yes, you can select that final snapshot creation, and retain automated backups also. Yes, keep that the backups until that 7 days. But I don't need all the things. Yes, unselect it. But you are unselecting this is nothing but, yes, you need to acknowledge that. Acknowledge that upon instance deletion, automated backups, including system snapshots and point in time recovery, will no longer be available. I am okay with that. That is acknowledgement. And now you can, you need to type that delete me. Then you can go ahead deleting the database. So manual backups, I mean automated backups, so that's like the which is available, but like I mean automated backups that will be deleted as a retention period, that 7 days, we didn't select that, right? But go for this manual if you have anything, and deleting that, delete the snapshot. This is a cleaning up the process. Yeah, so it takes some time deletion of this database. Yeah, that's about the deletion process, and make sure and check it about it all this, and even the parameter group also, it won't be chargeable this one. but anyway, that's not required for me. Let me delete this one also. But I have got this concept, the important concept, parameter group. Yeah, still the database is using this, right? So that's where you cannot delete it. Let's wait some time.
And while creating RDS, so we could see like Aurora with SQL, and then Postgres, and then MySQL, Oracle, right? So other than these databases, anything is available with the Amazon?
No, no, no. Aurora is available only for MySQL and PostgreSQL.
Yeah.
But yes, the database engines point of view, you can create Oracle, RDS, or SQL, MS SQL Server also you can create it.
Okay.
But Aurora, they have given compatibility for MySQL and PostgreSQL.
Okay.
But if you need to directly the Oracle, you can choose this Oracle database. But this is like as RDS, how you are creating
Okay. So
MySQL.
yeah, other than the listed here, so if I have like IBM DB2 or some other MariaDB like that.
That is not given that compatibility. That is, you
Okay,
need to
fine.
plan
Got
it
it. Thank you.
easy to instance, and that is about our own database management. But
Good.
engines support, these are all the engines which are available.
Got it. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you all. So that's all from my side. And make sure you have cleared everything once you have done the slab activity. Anyway, free tier you are using, but by mistake, if you forgot anything, then 750 hours if it is the cross, that will be chargeable. Yeah, so check it all the sections, the ones, I mean, the activities have been done. Yeah, good. So the slab guide refer it, working with connectivity of the database and try to explore some commands. But anyway, I'll come back schemas loading directly instead of showing about it SQL. How do you load the schemas? That is one application based. We are going to work with that. During that time, I will come back it. Yeah, thank you. Thank you all. We'll meet tomorrow and we'll work it on the S3. That is another important concept. Yeah, it is deleted the database. Good. And let me check with the snapshots system. Yes, this is still there. Let me delete this one also. Mm, So still that is referring the database. Okay, so it let's wait some time and after that I will delete it. Okay, anyway, thank you all. So that's all from my side. I'm going to sign off.